dreaded dripping tap. So we've got the bath mixer tap, and it's got the thermostatic valve on it, and we've got a dripping coming out. Now, is it coming from the cold side or the hot side? The easiest way to find out is just to touch it. If it's coming from the hot side, this will be warm here, and it's cold. So we know it's the cold feed is the one that's dripping out. It's coming out at quite a rate, I suppose. So let's strip it down and see if we can figure out what's going on. So we need to turn off the water feed to the house. If you can't get it with isolator, you can turn off the main one. Mine's in the bottom cupboard. So I just screw that, switch it off. Gives us a chance to get the tap off without getting water everywhere. Just screw it up nice and tight. Now we can get the mole grips out. I like my mole grips. And we'll take this shower hose off. Got to be a bit careful because these can be quite brittle. Just adjust them up and just crack that off. There she goes. It's all covered in limescale. Got a lot of limescale in our water. Very hard water area. Just keep turning that until it comes off. There we go. That's rid of that. Now we can move on to these big nuts that hold it on. Now these are only done up onto rubber washers, so that they shouldn't be extremely tight. You only need to really nip them up. So we'll there we go. Look, that's cracked off quite nicely. We'll just whisk them off. You just got to make sure you hold on to the tap just before they come completely loose, otherwise the tap will fall in the bath and smash your bath, which we don't want. Not today anyway. Now if you were just going to do the valve on the cold water feed, you don't actually have to take the tap right off, but I'm going to descale the whole tap, so that's why I'm removing it completely. We can do a really good clean up job on it. There we go, now it's off, and you can see how much limescale is built up underneath that. So like we've done in the past, we've got the descaling fluid, and we're going to descale this tap down. So what we need to do is just pop a bit of water into there. What we're looking at, about 80 millilitres of this stuff. 8 parts water, 80 millilitres of that. So let's get some in the bowl. It's pretty good to me. I'm going to use a bit of warm water this time as well. Okay, it's just deep enough to submerge the tap unit. So here we have it in all its glory. Looking a bit worse for wear, a lot of limescale on there. So let's get that in there. Let's turn this on and I'll get some flow going through it. And push the valve. And work it under the solution. Been in the water for about 20 minutes. We'll get it out, give it a good wipe down with the paper towel, and then we'll go to the garage and remove that cold water feed cartridge. Give it a good clean. So we'll drop the tap into this vise just to make it easy to show you what we're going to do with it. Okay, just nip that up. Right, let's whip this end cover off. Now I'm suspecting if I find that the ceramic shims are clean, then it's going to be down to the rubber or the silicone washer that's gone a bit soft. Oh, it's tight. Where's that out of there? And there it is. This is the cartridge that we need to give a clean to. The shims sometimes get a bit of limescale on them or a bit of dirt in there. As you can see, just rotate that spline and it turns the ceramics inside. So with the screwdriver, you can just pop that silicone cap off the end there. That presses the ceramics into the cartridge and gently just prise each one out. Now you can see there's little marks, little noggins on the edge of this ceramic. The one with the little circle points outwards, and those two faces have got to be absolutely spotless. So I'll stick a bit of that in there. It's great for descaling your toilet and all sorts. It's wicked stuff. So I'll drop these little shims into the descaler, and we'll also give that a dousing as well. So it's all in there. Get it down so it's all submerged. That'll be good. So we'll just tip it on its end like that, and then we'll leave that to do its thing. I'll leave that for half an hour or so just to clean that off. So now they're all nice and spotless, we can put it all back together again. So you've got that flat little locating lug at the bottom there, and that ceramic sits into that and locates in. Little bit fiddly, just poke it and prod it, and there we go, look, drop it in there nicely. And then we'll put the second shim on the top. Now you can put some silicone grease between these shims if you want, which really does help it out. It makes it a lot smoother. And we can now slot that straight back into the tap again. Slide that in there nicely. 17mm socket again, and wind that up. It's not got to be mega tight, just there we go, look, lock it up nicely. And we can put the knob back on again. We'll push that through that little cross-headed screw and screw that back up again. Get it all located nicely. Replacing these cartridges is a bit of a nightmare because there's so many different sorts that you go to the plumbers merchants and they look at you gone out because they just don't stock them. So it's always better to repair it if you can. Rubber seals in there, let's wet them back on. So it is important that those rubber seals are really good, and maybe just lock these nuts back up again. We haven't got to go super tight, but we'll get the mole grips on it again and just crank it up a little bit. Look at that, nice and shiny now though. It looks a lot better than it did before. Just need to give those two mountings a bit of a clean. But let's get these grips on here, look, and just, yeah, ease that up. That's one. And two. You notice on this, because the tap's facing away from you, it's almost like you're turning the thread the wrong way. You feel like you're undoing it when you're doing it up. And just the last bit, there we go. And then don't forget to turn the tap off. Just give it a quick, yeah, there we go. But when we turn the water back on again so it doesn't squirt all over the bathroom. So let's turn the water back on again at the stopcock. A tip here is to unscrew it fully, all the way, and then turn it back in one rotation. And that will just help prevent it seizing. So let's turn that tap on. Oh, you can hear the air bubbles coming back through it now. Oh, look at the colour of the water as well. All that dirt just coming back through the tap. Yeah, look at that. That's amazing. At least that means we've shifted all the muck out the thermostatic valve side. But that seems to be working nice. Nice and smooth on the action, which is always good. Is it going to drip? That's the question. Let's have a look. The moment of truth. Well, already that is loads better than it was. I think we've cracked it. So that was another great result for this descaling stuff. It is unbelievably good, and it just cleans these taps up like there's no tomorrow. So it's worked really well. Once again, it's a brilliant product. Can't fault it, and that tap's good as new. It saved me buying a new one. Tap's as good as new. Drop me a thumbs up, drop me a comment, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.